All right, let's try this and see if this works. Okay, so we just straight type it in. What did you get? Did you get it done? 15 sine 58 divided by sine 67. I got 13.82. Anybody else get that? Now, here's what you got to be careful of. Do not write that down in the answer blank. Why is that not the answer?
You still have to do the hero's formula or whatever.
Well, I'm not going to do hero's formula, but I am going to find the area. I still need to find the area. So I now have two sides and the angle in between. See that? This is what I needed. I needed two sides and the angle in between. So my answer will be 1/2 15 times 13.82 times sine 55. That will be my answer because my job was to find the area. And I needed to find that side first because I didn't have enough information. I got 84.91. How does that sound to everybody? Is that what you got for the area? And again, you might be slightly different if you had found side M. You could also have, we found L, that worked out great. We could have found M. Note that if you found M, using your raw signs, if you found M, it would be 1/2 15M sine 58. Remember, you must use the angle that is between the sides that you are working on. Okay? All right. All right, now we're on to the word problems. Here we go. There are, on all of our practice tests, we had 4 word problems. Your test only has 3, and it will look like these. These ones, we keep doing the same things over and over again. Find the length of the shorter diagonal of a parallelogram. So you're going to need to draw your parallelogram. So remember, that's what a parallelogram looks like. The sides are 14 and 18. Okay? And the larger angle, so when you slant your parallelogram, you're going to have a big angle and you're going to have a little angle. The big one is 124, which automatically makes the little one 56. You might want to just mark that right off the bat. Whatever, you're going to be given one of them. Whatever it is, the other one will be 180 minus it. Always, always, always. So they gave me the big one, so I went ahead and marked in that the little one is 56. You're going to be using one of those angles. I just don't know which one yet, so that's why I have them both written down. Okay, so what am I finding? The length of the shorter diagonal. So the diagonal goes from here to here and from here to here. You got to figure out, this is the shorter one right there. That's the shorter one. It cuts this angle, so I'm just going to erase that. I'm not going to be using 124 because the diagonal I am finding split it. And I can't use a split angle. I gotta have the whole thing. I am finding the length of that purple segment. The length of the purple segment. So I'm gonna erase this part of my parallelogram and just look at that triangle. And I have to figure out how to find the length. All right, so what is your thought on that?
Would you do the law of cosine?
Absolutely, Annie, very good. Remember, if you are finding a length, you're either going to do the law of sines or the law of cosines. Since I do not have a pair, I will be doing the law of cosines. So x squared on this end, cosine 56 on this end, and in between is my 14 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 times 14 times 18. Do not do 1/2 side sine. That is area. We're not finding area right now. We're finding a length. And when we find a length, we do the law of sines or cosines. Okay, so I'll just straight type it in. Don't forget to square root it. Oops. And for the length, I got 15.43. And that would be inches. Any question about that? Okay. Now, the next question says, go back to the same parallelogram and find the area. Now, if you don't want to redraw, you don't have to. Could we use that picture right there? Remember, there's the rest of the parallelogram. Could we use that picture to help us find area? Oh yeah, we can, because the area of the triangle, right here, this guy right here, would be 1/2 14 times 18 times sine 56. And I can just type that in. What do I have to remember to do though? I'm typing this in, I got a nice little answer, but what do I have to remember?
Multiply by 2.
Exactly, I have to double that because the parallelogram has 2 of these triangles. So the area of the parallelogram is 208.92 square inches. That would be the area of the parallelogram. Does anybody have a question about that? Do you all see the difference between those 2 problems? That one was asking for a length, so that's law of cosines or sines, and the other one wanted area. Okay. All right, next. Now we have our regular octagon. Okay, so tell me how many dots I'm going to put around my circle for an octagon.
8.
8. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sketch in my octagon. There's my 8 dots. Boom, boom. Connecting those 8 dots. There's my octagon. And the radius is 22 centimeters. Now, problems 3 and 4 both go with this picture. They are asking different things, so make sure you're paying attention to the question. Number 3 says, find the perimeter. What does perimeter mean? distance around. So see that purple thing I just drew? That's the perimeter. In order to find the perimeter, don't I need to know what one of these sides are? And then I can times it by 8.
Would it be 45 because 360 divided by 8?
All right, so Annie says this central angle here is 45, because if I drew in all the triangles, there'd be 8 of them, and all of these 8 angles add up to 360, so it's 360 divided by 8. Perfect. But I need to know this length right here. How do I find a length? Law of sines or cosines. And this one is going to be cosines because I don't have a pair. So x squared equals 22 squared plus 22 squared minus 2 times 22 times 22 times cosine 45. Again, the question wants to know perimeter. That means I need this length. Lengths are laws of sines or cosines. So I'm going to type all that in. Lots of 22s there. And I'm going to take the square root. Now, when I take the square root, I got 16.84. But I need the perimeter. I need all the way around, not just this piece, but all the way around. So what am I going to do with the number on my calculator?
Times it by 8.
Yep. So your perimeter is 134.7 centimeters. Now, area. Number 4, last question. I need the area. What's my, pardon me?
1/2 times 22 times 22 sine 45.
Exactly.
Multiply that by 8.
Exactly. So to get the area of the triangle, it's 1/2 side, sine of included angle. But then, since there's 8 of those, we'll just take that number times 8. So 1/2 times 22 times 22 times sine 45, and then times that by 8. This is going to be a big number. I got 1,368.96 square centimeters.
So we multiply this one by 8 also?
Uh-huh. Yep, because you need the area of the whole figure, not just one of the triangles. Okay, so that takes care of the practice test. We still have a few minutes, I think. So what did we talk about that you would like to talk about more of? Another example of.
Can we do another one of the simplifying?
Yep. Yep. Let's try, and then, all right, let's try these two. All right, so here we go. Think about what we did earlier. What might be a good way to start this?
Factoring.
And how would it factor? Yes, indeed. And how would it factor?
Sine -4, sine +4.
Yep, that's exactly right. Who was that just said that? Okay. And then there's nothing to do with the denominator, so we're just gonna copy that back down. But what do we notice after we have factored?
Cancels.
Yes. Remember, do not cancel anything in this original problem. You have to factor first, and then you can cancel. So your answer would be sine x minus 4. All right, what about this one now? This looks different. What do I do with this one? Okay, so cosine is just cosine. Sine is just sine. But tangent is
Sine over cosine.
yeah. Now, you're going to be tempted to cancel. And I want you to cancel if there's a times in between them. But if there's a plus in between them, don't cancel. So I've got cosine over 1 plus sine squared over cosine. Sine squared over cosine. You cannot cancel, kids. Not allowed. But what do we have here? We have two fractions, don't we? And what do we do when we have two fractions that need added together?
Common denominator.
And the common denominator is cosine. So this one already has a cosine, so it's fine. This one needs a cosine, so I have to multiply the top and the bottom. So now they both have a cosine on the bottom, and their tops are cosine squared plus sine squared. Well, wait a minute. What's cosine squared plus sine squared? Cosine squared plus sine squared, 1. So it's 1 over cosine, 1 on the top, cosine on the bottom. So 1 over cosine, which we should all know is